Things to do to sell your home. Today I thought we would go over NAR's consumer guide to preparing to sell your home. Now this is going to be very residentially oriented, but we will read through it. There may be some things that apply to commercial and we'll just kind of talk through it as we go. And as I've done with the other consumer guides, since this is NAR's consumer guide, I'll be largely reading this. But we'll make some comments as we go. So let's jump in. Consumer guide preparing to sell your home. Once you decide to sell your home, you might have questions about how to prepare it for listing and viewing by potential buyers. An agent who is a realtor can guide you through this process. Here are some common considerations as you prepare to sell your home. Number one, how do I find the right agent to sell my home? You should feel empowered to find and work with the agent who is the best fit for your needs. To guide this process, NAR has dedicated resources with questions to consider when selecting a seller's agent. When you work with an agent who is a realtor, you're working with a professional guided by ethical duties under the Realtor Code of Ethics, including the pledge to protect and promote the interest of your client. And so NAR, always kind of mentions this, and it's important to know the word realtor does not mean real estate professional. A real estate professional might be a realtor, but realtor is not a generic term, even though it is commonly used that way. In the United States, most real estate professionals are realtors, but not all. And realtor is a trademark of the National Association of Realtors. And if you're a member of NAR, you have a very strict code of ethics that you follow. So if someone is not a realtor, they may not be following that code of ethics, or they may not be following any code of ethics at all. Do I need to have my home inspected before putting it up for sale? No, a pre-sale inspection is not required. However, an inspection can be used to identify potential issues in your home that you might consider repairing before showing your home to potential buyers and use as a differentiator for your property. If you choose to conduct a pre-sale inspection, an inspector will assess your home's condition, including its structure, exterior, roof, plumbing, electrical systems, heating and air conditioning, interiors, ventilation, insulation, and fireplaces. It may also include tests for problems that can affect human health, like mold, radon gas, lead paint, and asbestos. Sometimes buyers may also conduct their own inspections as a contingency in their purchase contract. If you uncover possible issues that may appear during a buyer's inspection, you'll have time to make any necessary changes that could impact your home's asking price. You should also talk to your agent about disclosure requirements in your state if a pre-inspection uncovers an issue. Okay, so I think that is a matter of preference. In general, I can tell you that if I'm working with a buyer, whether the homeowner has done an inspection or not, I'm always going to tell the buyer they need to have their own inspection. And one of the reasons for that is that the person who is paying for the inspection is the person to whom the inspector has the duty. And you can have a situation where if I were a buyer and I bought your home and you said, well, we had an inspection done, you can just use our inspection. And then we ended up with a problem after the fact. And I said, well, that wasn't on the inspection. The guy didn't do the inspection right. You would have no recourse against your inspector because he didn't work for you. And so you would really have nothing. I mean, it puts you in a bad spot. So I always tell buyers, kind of in the hot market we had in residential the last few years, there were a lot of people that were skipping inspections. But I would always tell a buyer that they should have their own inspection. Now, for a seller, you may want to have that done. I do think you do need to understand that you could end up with a difference of opinion by the inspectors. And then you might end up into sort of a conflict over that. That's just something to be aware of. It's something that you just really kind of, I think it depends upon your property. I think it depends upon all kinds of things. But another thing that particular point talked about was disclosure. Most states, pretty much all that I can think of, they require disclosure. So if you are a property owner, or this is really specifically for residential, if you are selling a home and you know of things that are problems, say your furnace doesn't work, say your roof is leaking, say any of those things, you are required to disclose those. And I think that if you have an inspection done and you uncover something, and you might repair it, you might not, but you would be required really in most cases to disclose anything that's uncovered in an inspection too. That's not always bad. I do think that it really improves your credibility when you tell people up front about things that you're aware of. But you should just be aware of that. So, all right, let's move along. What should I do if something in my home needs to be fixed or replaced soon? If something in your home requires a significant repair, such as a roof, a system such as HVAC, or an appliance like a dishwasher or washer dryer, you should determine how much that repair will cost, even if you do not plan to fix it before selling the home. These estimates will help sellers determine the cost that buyers might take into consideration when negotiating a purchase agreement. And so I'm going to stop here for a second and I'm going to go back a point and talk a little bit about commercial. With commercial things, there is not really a requirement for disclosure normally. Again, for residential people and commercial people, they're treated differently both by NAR and most states. They generally consider commercial people being business people, being a little more sophisticated, and they are presumed to be more, they don't need the same level of protection. And so that's one of the reasons that it's done that way. So that's just something to keep in mind. And again, sort of with the same thing is true for commercial properties. If there's things that are wrong and they're putting in a bid, the person more than likely, whatever that market price may be, they're going to take into account repairs they have to make and about how much that's going to cost when they are trying to decide how much they will pay for the property. Let's see here. Am I required to make any cosmetic updates to my home before putting it up for sale? No. But you may want to clean the windows, carpet, lighting fixtures, and walls and store away clutter before showing your home to potential buyers. Sellers may also look for ways to improve curb appeal, how the home looks to potential buyers when viewed from the street, by updating aspects such as landscaping, the front entrance, and paint jobs. These steps may help improve the home's appearance in photos, which can play an important role in attracting potential buyers. And I would say that's all true. Now, I have had people that have, especially, it could be money was tight, or it could be, and like with commercial guys, lots of times they're like, hey, I could spend a lot of money kind of getting this stuff all, fixed up, and the people buying it may not want any of that. They may tear it all out, and that could be, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars that was just thrown away. And I get that, and that is a valid point. On the other hand, it's also a valid point that if the place looks really bad, it really, people will walk away. And one of the things that is very common is if something doesn't work, if something looks really bad, in that guy's mind, in those people's mind, it's like, if it looks this bad, I wonder what is wrong that I don't even know about. And, I've had people, we drive up to a property and it looks bad on the outside and they won't even get out of the car. It's like, we're moving on to the next one. They won't even look at it. So you have to keep that in mind. You know, I'm not one to just ask people to spend a lot of money that you don't need to do it. But I will also tell you, you want things to be neat, you want things to be clean, you want things to be in decent repair, you know, at least the basic stuff, you know, that it's important. All right, do I need to provide information about appliances that will stay with the home after it is sold? You should locate warranties, guarantees, and user manuals for the furnace, washer, dryer, dishwasher, and other appliances or systems that will stay in the house with a new buyer. It is recommended that you find these items now to avoid any lost paperwork causing an issue with the potential buyer when you reach the time of finalizing or closing the transaction. That may be true. You know, now that's one thing, and I'm primarily a commercial broker. I don't do a whole lot of residential. Generally, when we do residential, it's smaller investors who are looking for, you know, kind of rental homes or those kinds of things. And so we are doing, you know, residential transactions, but it's a little bit different in the way they do that. And you know, in general with my stuff, nobody really expects to see the warranties or anything, unless it's relatively new. If there's an existing warranty on something and that warranty is going to transfer, absolutely. If it's something that has been there for a while, there's no warranty, there's no guarantee, there's nothing along those lines, most people, in my experience, don't really expect it. But that's, you know, like I said, I'm mainly a commercial guy, not a residential guy. If you're a residential guy and you're watching this and I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments and let the people who are watching this know. So, okay, what does it mean to stage my home? Staging in the process of cleaning a home and temporarily filling it with furniture and decorations that may help buyers better see themselves living in the home. While it is not required, some sellers may work with a stager to focus on certain key areas of their home that are important to buyers. Some agents may also include staging in the services that they provide to you. Staging is really more of a residential issue. You will occasionally have things like that with commercial, but not a lot. I think that when you do, it's probably, you know, sometimes if someone has built like a new office building or something along those lines, and it's a brand new building, they may set up an office or something and kind of have sort of like a demo for people to walk through. But most of the time that is not done a lot. Although there are companies that do that. I mean, there are companies that will stage a commercial property for you if you want that done. All right, practices may vary from state and local laws. Consult your real estate professional and/or attorney for details about state law where you are purchasing a home. Please visit facts.realtor for more information and resources. And so that wraps this up. I think that there are some things that might help you with commercial properties or other things like that. And I will put a link to this consumer guide in the description so that you can see it. It also has on it a few other links to other facts and resources that could be helpful to you. So let's call that a day for this one. If you're finding this helpful, if you don't mind, if you could give me a like, or if you know someone who might benefit from this, perhaps you could share it with them. And if you like following real estate topics, you may even subscribe. And I will also put a link to my website. If you have other real estate questions, you might put them in the comments. I try to respond to all comments. Also, you might check out my YouTube channel. I've covered a lot of things there. It could be that in those videos, there's some things that may answer your questions as well. I am David McCoy. I'm based here in Louisville, Kentucky. My company is Otimo Properties. I do primarily commercial. I do a little bit of residential, and I do global real estate. And I can't remember if I said this or not, but I'm licensed in Kentucky and Indiana. So thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. And I will see you on the next one. Take care.